WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany. This week I'm talking to a lot of Irish distillers that I should have visited on my nice trip through Ireland. Today I have the privilege of talking with.
My name's Ollie Alcorn. I'm the distiller in Lough Gill Distillery here in Sligo, sunny Sligo.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Ollie, tell me a little bit, how do you become a master distiller?
Well, I'm not a master distiller, but no, I'm a distiller. I've done training. I basically worked in Drumshanbo. I've also done some training in Inchterny Distillery in Scotland, and I'm doing my certificates for distilling as well through the IBD. So, but a lot of this is learning on the job, as most people will know. It's it's a case of learning on the job. So I was involved in this distillery from day one. I've seen the whole thing from start to where we are now, and it was heavily involved in all the commissioning of the plant and everything as well. It's very, very new. We commissioned the plant at the end of last year, so we're still in our process of tweaking things, getting everything where we want it to do, getting the plant to do what we want it to do. But we're there now. The spirit quality is great, so yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Now, tell us a little bit about the history of this building, first of all, and then you can show us around. All right, so.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, it's an interesting site where we are here. The original was a Canadian mansion on the property, and then during the mid-60s, they built a ginormous factory right beside the house that's about 6 acres on the roof. And our plan is to build, well, we have the distillery here, but to develop the rest of it as bonded warehousing, and we'll be storing, but also for other customers as well. And then we will renovate the house at our attraction. So it's. But I'll try and take you outside. Hopefully, my Wi-Fi will let me reach far enough out there. But you get to see the size of the building. I mean, it's a monster. It really is. It was used for making VHS videotape of all things in Sligo. So back in from the late 80s up until 2000.
All right. I now just shared with you the website, and you can actually see the size of this building here from above, an aerial view, and down below here you actually have the mansion. And then you have here what you have behind me, actually the stills here on their website here, and that's actually a very, very interesting concept that you have. Now, who started this whole idea? Whose crazy idea was it to put a distillery there in Sligo?
I know it's a funny one, but it's actually an ideal site. Yeah, I mean, we're surrounded by water. The site is it's on a peninsula out into Lough Gill, so we're almost completely surrounded by water the whole way around. Water, we're not using for direct cooling, but we can use the water here for process. We obviously have to do some treatment to it, but the water is just so good. And in Ireland, it rains so much, so the water is, we have plentiful sources of water. But yeah, it was originally the Dave Raythorn is the main shareholder, and it was his crazy idea to build a distillery here. But as we go on, I mean, there's so much of the infrastructure was already here from the factory being built in the mid-60s. So. Including a wastewater treatment plant, which we've sort of repurposed into holding tanks. A lot of the drainage and everything is all still there as well, and a water source. So it's it's ideal.
So I'd just like to share, if I can, this map at the moment. You can see Lough Gill Distillery, as you said, on the peninsula. Here's Sligo, and then we zoom out here in Ireland. We can actually see that we're fairly far north here. You're not that far away from Northern Ireland now, are you?
That's right. Yeah, not far away from the border.
Very good. So, show us a little bit of the process from grain to glass, if at all possible. So, where does the grain maybe come in? Where do you get your grains from?
Okay. I'm going to do my best. I'm not 100% sure whether I won't be able to go out to the milling area there's no Wi-Fi
Don't
up
worry.
there. So, but I can basically say to you that all of our grain comes from minch malts, which I have on my hat here. Minch malt, which is in Athy in County Kildare, and we source all of our single malt whiskey is made from Hookhead series malt, which is it's sort of like the premium end of malt. There's a little bit extra in cost, but it's all about traceability. So there's 9 growers who supply that malt to Minch, which is then malted in Athy, and then we have it delivered up here by truckload, like Arctic truckload. We have 3 silos that we can hold a full truckload in, so we've got quite a bit of storage there, and then it's all conveyed through the milling plant, and then we store a batch at a time. So one batch would be 2.6 tons of grist. Flip the camera around here, and I can hopefully show you the mash tun. Just 1 sec. Okay. I'm Protestant's reception.
Little dark.
That gives you.
There we go.
You can see it. You can see it there. And I'll try. We're mashing at the moment, so if I can look in, you should see. There's our mash for today.
Great! Excellent.
Yeah.
And how big is your mash tun?
Volume-wise, I couldn't even tell you. It holds 2.6 tons, and we fill it with 10,200 liters of water.
Okay.
So
very
and then
good.
we obviously sparge, and we also collect wheat wort as well. So that's our wheat wort tank there, which we can then store and obviously get better efficiency for the plant and good heat recovery as well. So, and then moving on into fermentation. Sorry, you can see the stills in the background. I was going to leave them as a surprise.
Surprise! You can only see them behind me as well here a little bit, but don't worry.
Yeah. So I can sort of poke you into a fermenter there.
What's your fermentation time?
3 days.
Okay.
3 days.
All right.
We go for. Yeah. We pitch. No, obviously, at the moment we're only running 1 shift. We'll be going to 2 shifts in the next couple of weeks. So that'll stay the same. But at the moment, we're some fermenters will stay in over the weekend, and they may have an extra day on them.
Okay, that happens. Very, very good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The next thing after you have your mashing, you have your fermentation, and now we can move on to the next interesting part would be our distillation process, right?
Yeah. I'll do my best here. I'm just going to walk.
Do you do like a clear wort, or what type of wort do you do?
What type of wort?
Yeah, sometimes you have clear and cloudy. Are you do you have the water that you take away from the rest of the grit, or how do you do that entire process? What goes into the stills?
Sorry. Well, we do, it's processed as a batch inside the Lough tun, and we fly sparge as we're mashing, and then we will collect. We collect a full fermenter volume, and then we go on to wheat wort collection, and then once that's fully fermented as wash, we will then pump it across through preheaters into the wash still.
Okay.
So I'll show you that. I just sort of thought while I was in the center here, I can show you some of the packaging and the whiskies that we have out on the market at the moment. And I know it looks a little bit random just having it sitting in the middle of the room, but it's where I get best perception. So
yeah, exactly. I'll show you a different link here before you go to your nice little thing here. Or while you're doing that, you can actually see the 3 different expressions at the moment. They look a little bit better here. Very, very nice stuff that you have out trilogies. You have 3x3, and this is actually the Creation trilogy, which came out last week. And next week we're going to have, or next year we're going to have others. So what Ollie's actually doing right now is he's going to move his way up because that's a hazardous area because you can't have sparks or phones up there. And so you're going to hear the beep, beep, beep here.
That's it.
And
yeah.
he's going to actually...
I'm now outside the ATEX zone. So you can hear the scissor lift going up here. And I'm bringing
the scissor lift,
to
exactly.
Yeah.
No one else has done a tour of their factory like you have. I must admit, this is incredible. So how are you doing walk down then? I mean, I see a couple people there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a semi-automated plant, so there are some manual valves, but most of it is automated. So yeah, it's basically two-person to run it. You can run it with one person if you need to. So obviously, it just makes it. All of our cutting valves on the stills are all manual, and discharge valves for the stills are also manual, and then the fermentation valves are manual as well. So it can be tricky when you're trying to mash in, and you're also trying to charge all the stills to get running for your shift, and then trying to make cuts at the same time. So it's much handier to have a second person here in order to do that. But I hope you can see that picture. The picture quality is okay there.
It's okay. Yeah.
Good. So these are our three stills here.
So triple distillation, very good. So starting off with your wash still there, I think at the left.
That's right. Yeah, and it goes through two condensers for the wash still. It's a heat recovery system. So we use the first condenser for heating up hot water. So we feed warm water through the first condenser, and it's then generated as hot water on the outflow, and you can see just beside it the horizontal condenser is the subcooler. So that will be from a cooling tower, getting it right down to our preferred distillate temperature, and then on the intermediate and spirit stills we just run through a single condenser, and it's run through a cooling tower. Obviously, just very, very slow distillation for spirit. And I know it's not, the image quality is not great there, but there is actually spirit flowing off of all three of them today, because we have all three on there today. Yeah, can you see it there? I don't know if I can zoom in.
You can actually see differences in colors on the stills.
Yeah. And you can see that the house in the background there as well. So eventually that will be cladded with glass. This is it's a temporary facade on the front of the building at the moment. Okay. So it'll eventually be glass, and from the house you'll be looking at the reflection of the house in the building. So it'll be glass and polished steel for the front of the building, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And then I'll scan along there, and it's not the sexier part of the building, or of the plant, but we also have the CIP. And
CIP stands for?
So the two taller tanks in the cleaning in place.
Thank you. Not everyone knows.
Yeah. No, it's just for for cleaning out, particularly around the brew house is very important. But we can CIP the wash still as well. So in here we have this area is dedicated to the CIP, the cleaning in place. Heat recovery as well. So, and this is the Butte plants. They're very, very good at the heat recovery end of things and making things efficient. So the two taller tanks in the back hold warm water and hot water. The one on the right hand side is the warm 60 to 65 degrees. The one on the left hand side, that would be our barge water. But we're filling one and emptying another, and they transfer as we're doing our and preheating. So, and then we also, this here behind the column is our pot ale. The pot ale at the end of your shift, put into the tank for storage, which is insulated, and then we use that for preheating the next chapter.
Okay.
And then we also do the same tank there. The one closest to me is a tank. So and spirit both get stored there, and we can use that for our faints going into the spirit still, and our low wines going into the intermediate still. So it's a great design. It really is. We're basically taking.
I think it was an Italian company that did everything,
wash.
didn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Frilly Impia is the name. So I might try and flip. You want to bring up something else on the screen there for a second, Jason, on the lift, and then I might just take you out and so you can get a bit of a look.
All right, we'll try it. Very, very good. So I'll go back to your website here, and what we have is that we have the distillery and we have the distributors, and of course we also have that house that he's going to show us a little bit about. So we have a little bit of the cherry blossoms in the background. We see here the heritage of the house way back when. And what is very, very interesting is, of course, here for me, I'm going to silent your microphone for 1 second while you get down. And very interesting for me, of course, is we have different distributors. So you actually have distributors in Ireland, UK, Canada, Germany, France, Andorra, Austria, and also New Zealand. All right. So let's see what Ollie's doing here. All right. So he's basically made his way down. Very, very good. And he's going to walk outside with us and see if this works out or not. Very, very good. So this distillery is a very interesting distillery because they are producing spirit, but they've also had three, I'm going to say, somewhat higher premium, super premium products on the market. At least over here in Germany, they're 149 euros per bottle. And there's a big, big name on that, namely Billy Walker. Ollie, could you mention later on why and how you continued this collaboration with Billy Walker?
Sorry, I just missed a little bit of that, but I heard Walker. Now, to be honest,
exactly.
I don't know how the connection was made between David and Billy Walker. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, Billy has. I'm trying mic around.
Maybe Austin can chime in and write something in the Facebook commentary there about that.
Oh right, okay, sorry. 1 sec.
All right, everyone, this is live. This is what happens. We're doing a live virtual tour of the Lough Gill Distillery together with Ollie, Distiller there. It's very, very interesting to see everything that's going on. Now we see your beautiful face again. Great job. Yep.
Yeah, Billy Walker is involved here. He's obviously a master. Anything to do with whiskey, that man knows. So he's an amazing person, and he's basically designing the blends for us, or the release. Obviously, our distillate here, samples of that distillate has been sent over to Billy, and he recommendations and his opinions on how we can improve it. And then he's also made some suggestions on this. Then we also have a stock that was bought from Cooley Distillery back in 2015, and we're finishing in a range of different casks. So the first three releases. We have the double finish of Pedro Jimenez Sherry and Oloroso. Second release
that was the Anaconda
Oloroso Sherry. Yep.
And Neria, or how do you say that?
Sorry, the same there. Anacuna.
Yeah, Anacuna.
Anacuna. Yeah, and then we have the
second one
opened up here is Ray.
Nocturne.
It actually went into 2 different types of Oloroso casks.
Oh.
That one's lovely. And then the third one is Hungarian
Yeah.
And once again, there's a bit of a story behind that of how we got those casks. David happened to bump an ambassador and got talking about whiskey. So yeah, he managed to source us some casks. It was within a weeks we had the casks here. So it's amazing. They came from the actual Tokai region. Lovely Tokai cask. That's favorite. That's actually it's really light. Has sort of more sort of fresh fruit flavors from it.
Okay.
I have more sort of raisins and prunes and things like that, and cinnamon maybe as well. Yeah, you get it's a brighter sort of whiskey, the third release. So I'm going to bring you.
Please do.
The connection stays, and I'll bring you to. Sure, you can hear the pumps running there. I'm going to try and bring you outside.
All right.
So you can get a bit of a look at the scale.
All right. Austin just wrote, yes, we're looking for, and experienced master distiller Billy Walker was extremely good to help us out. David Raythorn and Billy have a good working relationship, and we are masterfully guided by Billy. Excellent. Okay, a little bit windy out there today.
Give you 1 sec here as well. Around to the house.
All right. There we go. Beautiful.
Get back in with the connection is better.
All right. So we got to see the house. That was very, very nice of you. When will the new releases be out in 2020 here?
Sorry, Jason, could you?
Yes, when will the new releases be in 2020? The next 3 that we can be looking forward to, I hope.
Good question. I've sent samples of those ones to Billy already.
Okay.
I think they're due this summer, but obviously my head is just buried in the distillery at the moment. So I think as far as I know, they're coming out later this year, and it looks like, going by Billy's recommendation, the Madeira finish is coming along. I agree with him on that one as well. It's really good, and so we also finish, and there is Tawny Port, Burgundy as well. So we'll release them in whatever order best, are the nicest at that time.
Okay, very, very good. Now, you showed us the pot stills. How long do you distill on average with each one?
Sorry, can you just repeat that again?
Yes. How long do you still on the different pot stills here for your wash stills, your spirit stills, and where do you do the cuts?
How long do they take to actually distill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just missed that. So basically, on our washes, the quickest, generally between 4 and 5 hours. The intermediate would be at about 6 hours, and then from to 8 hours. But we run the spirit every second batch to improve the spirit quality. So we're getting 2 spirit runs from the intermediate, and some of the spirit still that will then go into the for the next charge on the spirit. It increases the volume slightly, so we get an increase, but we also we found that by doing that as well. So That's what it's all about, isn't it?
All right, very good. What type of barrels are you using, and how long do you want to age in the future, and when can we expect your real juice?
We are we're using bourbons. Most of them are made, and we do have a supply of Oloroso cask. It's going to be some trialing us to see what works best, but we know that with bourbon we're going to get a nicely matured whiskey, So the spirit the spirit from that we're producing, actually, just by the design of our stills, we have upturned line balls on all three stills as well. So we're getting a high fairly inside the stills, and that's being produced is it's quite light in character, quite sweet, and it has an orchard fruit smell to it as well. So Billy came back and said it was orchard fruits and toast. We're happy with that. It is actually lovely. It's really it's very, very sweet. So we think it will work best in a bourbon with a slightly high raw content, although makers in it. I think they use the winter wheat. But we should be able to add a little bit of spice to it to balance that sweetness. Obviously, that's something that part of our production at the moment is going towards hand sanitizer, so shortage. So we're not filling as many casks at the moment as what we were, but who knows how this is going to last for this crisis globally.
Now let's take about 2 or 3 minutes to talk about this. So are you today making hand sanitizer, and how is that going on with that?
So, sorry, just repeat that again.
Are you making hand sanitizer today, or how is that going on?
No, we're not specifically producing sanitizer. We're basically selling on some of our spirit. If people use as hand sanitizer, we're only focused on whiskey production, and all the cut points are identical to what they would be for our spirit production.
Okay.
But there's the demand for sanitizer at the moment globally. There's been a number of people approaching to look to buy some of it, and I think that.
So what are your cut points at the moment?
Across the. Oh, that's a trade secret.
Okay, good, no problem.
we tend to keep I'll just say, we tend to keep the cut points are quite narrow. We do a heads cut on just a short, a very, very small heads cut. The feints left over from the previous run, our strength, and we obviously the cut is wider on the intermediate, but we keep that narrow enough before it's really, really fainty. So, and then on the spirit still we 4 fractions. So we obviously make our heads cut, and that gets returned back. And then our spirit cut is actually quite narrow. It is because we're going for the best of the spirit that we can get out of the plant, and then we divide the feints into 2 fractions. So from into the 80s down 40s, we would send back to into the final part of the distillation is returned back into the tank here. Where, oh, sorry, it's hiding back. There, little tank there.
There it is, behind
4
there.
shots
All
written
right,
on it. So that was, our final feints or our bad feints would be and then it's charged to the wash still.
Okay.
So
very, very good.
That's what we're finding is the best way to get the nice clean spirit, which is what we want.
All right, excellent. Now, you actually started producing in 2019, right?
Sorry, just say that again.
When did you start producing whiskey?
Yeah, the end of last year. So we haven't been long, and like a new plant where there's little tweaks and things like that to get it to do. And we're sort of at that point we can start upping the here. That's my job now, is to train in more people on how to use the plant, and then start producing volume, because we need.
Yep, exactly. What will the capacity be?
It's a 1 million liter plant, so we won't achieve that this year. So it's meters of, but we won't get to that target this year. But there we'll be up to 3 shifts and running 24/7. Obviously, 24/7. So the way we're running it at the moment is a little bit inefficient, because we're losing temperatures overnight on wheat bread and on our water as well. Once we get up to full production, it's going to increase the efficiency of the plant as well, which would be.
Very good. So we can expect your first real bottling maybe 2024?
Oh, I think that's going to be left to Billy. I'm not sure. I think there has been talk of doing like an early that we bought from the Shed Distillery. So they produced 500 barrels of whiskey for us in 2015, 2016, and 2000. So that some of that is now whiskey, and so there is talk of doing an early release on that side, but I'm not doing the same. It's the same thing with our own spirit, or whether we'll just be leaving it for us.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right, very, very good. So, so you're trying to hire people. So, how can someone apply if they want to become a stillman or a still woman?
Yeah, well, actually, at the moment we're kind of only recruiting people who've worked in production. So either people who've worked in distilleries, but I'm kind of lucky here at the moment, because in Sligo there's a factory that's shut several years. A lot of those guys that work there are very familiar with in a production capacity. So and really, that's the experience we need in here, is people who know how to operate. They're used to some automation on the plant and that kind of thing.
Yep.
We will be looking at getting us to blend well, be on site all the time to do more so looked. That'll be coming later on this year. But yeah, we're only taking on a couple of people, so
yep.
and actually I can see them enough in the.
Yeah. All right, very good. One last question, I think, would be also with warehousing. How does that situation look?
With our warehousing, sorry, I'm only catching little bit of questions, but I heard warehousing. So at the moment we have here, but there is quite a bit of work to be done to each warehouse to make them, comply with fire regulation, and there'll be new boards to be installed around around the distillery or around the warehousing facilities, so that if we do, have a fire here, that it's contained and we off into the river. But that's all in motion at the moment, and we're due construction on the next 2 warehouses in. So at the moment, we have plenty of capacity for ourselves, and we're store also see, but ongoing there's going to be a lot of it would be then to be storing for other people, as there is a massive shortage for bonded warehouse.
Yeah. Very, very true. All right, Ollie, I would like to thank you very much for all that you've now shared with us. This has been a very interesting visual tour of your site, including the outside mansion that we got to see there. Any other last statements you'd like to mention before I close this down?
To set up a glass with some whiskey so that we got online here, but I forgot. I didn't have time before we got on the call, so apologies.
Don't worry.
No, thanks very much for listening. I hope everything has come out okay. Reception in here is not great for doing this, but okay. Thanks very much.
When will the visitor center be open?
That is likely to be.
Okay. And up until then, can someone visit the distillery if they ask nicely?
Could they be? I mean, ask them to get in contact with, and they can direct them to me. We're very busy in the distillery here. Sure, we can organize something. Want to come in? Everyone's very keen. Sligo. It's like a mysterious thing happening in the woods, but I think Easters now they all know that here we're in production, so it's great.
All right, very good. So thank you, Ollie. Also thank you, Austin, very much. The guy I met then in Whiskey Life in Dublin 2019. I think you'll be exhibiting as well in 2020 in Dublin, right?
Yep, that's right.
All right, all the best to you. Thank you very much. And if you want to have more information, I will once again put the link here into the chat in YouTube so that you can actually go there, athru.com/whiskey, or just athru.com. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American, today with...
Great, thanks very much.
All right, thank you, Ollie. Bye-bye.
Thank you.